In this video, we're going to talk about if the Patriots have a chance to acquire Odell Beckham Jr. A lot has changed in the atmosphere here of the free agency, just with the fact that Odell Beckham Jr. might be on the market, as well as Deshaun Jackson. There's a couple talented guys at the wide receiver position entering into the free agency. It's super interesting, actually, to see this occurring. Before I get into things, if you're new here, be sure to smash that like button, leave a comment down below, and subscribe for the best Patriots content on YouTube. We make many updates just like this one. So if you are interested in Patriots content, just be sure to smash that subscribe button. Now, I would like to mention that there is a few teams I think Odell Beckham Jr. would be interested in signing with. Obviously, as a free agent, he does have a say in it. It is expected that he's going to be cut. Obviously, a trade could happen, but I think the most likely outcome here is that he will be cut. That's the last time I checked, at least. It is 7 a.m., so I have, there's still updates to come as well. Now, the four teams that I've heard that would be the most likely landing spots would be the Seattle Seahawks, New Orleans Saints, New England Patriots, and the Los Angeles Rams. I really feel like if his objective is to be in a good position to play well and win, uh, for now, I would say I would rule out the Seattle Seahawks and the New Orleans Saints as of right now, in my opinion. Obviously, we have Russell Wilson out at least for the next 2 weeks, I believe. So, that's putting the season, you have like half a season at that point to try to prove yourself. I think he would value those 2 weeks if he's trying to make a prove it deal with a team and then move on and get a big contract or something like that. Or maybe he's just interested in winning long term, in which case, I think basically the best two landing spots for him at this point would be the Los Angeles Rams or the New England Patriots. That's just my prediction. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes to the Rams. I think there's a good opportunity there. But also, I think with the Patriots, this just reminds me of one of those classic Patriots acquisitions. This just reminds me of one that we would go ahead and try to really pursue. Although I have heard that the Patriots aren't very interested, which is kind of surprising as well. But I think they should be. And in my opinion, I think they will at least put some decent effort into trying to get him. This does remind me of when Antonio Brown became available. I think Antonio Brown is slightly more talented than Odell Beckham Jr., although Odell Beckham Jr. has had some really good years, and I think he still has something left in the tank. He is 29 years old. He's not 29 yet. He will be 29 very shortly. I don't know exactly when his birthday is, but according to Pro Football Focus, he is 28.9 years old, so he's very close. Now, the only thing with Odell Beckham Jr. is his career has basically been sliding downhill ever since his first year. 2014, according to Pro Football Focus, he had a 90.8 ranking for a rookie. That's amazing. Second wide receiver, uh, ranked wide receiver there. So, I mean, second best. That is insane. The next year, an 88.1. Not bad, but not quite as good as his rookie season. And then in 2016, he had an 84.6, which is definitely not as good. And then in 2017, a 69.2. So it was descending. And I believe maybe 2018 is when he signed with the Browns. Let me know, guys, if you know if I'm wrong or right about that. But it might have been 2018 or 2017, something in that range, maybe 2019. But in 2018, he had a 90, so he kind of rebounded almost back to his rookie season. He was the fourth best wide receiver that year. And then in 2019, it's right back to 68.7. And then in 2020, 75.3, which is pretty good, 37th best wide receiver. So a very decent starting wide receiver there. And then in 2021, so far he's had a 66.4. So it's just been this all over the place, but mostly downtrend in his career. I do think that the Patriots could figure out a way to game plan for him instead of just trying to get open, designing plays to really get him open instead of relying on, um, you know, route running ability or just deep routes. We could really design plays to get him going for sure. It reminds me of, remember when Antonio Brown signed with us, he played for one game and we were really able to design a game plan to really get him involved. I think that's what they do with new guys just to get them kind of happy and just, get their confidence up and really get them feeling the vibe with the team is really get them active to begin with. Sometimes they really hold off, but other times they really just, light it up in their direction, and that's what we did with Antonio Brown. So yeah, I do think we should pursue this for sure. I don't exactly know how much money he would want, but hopefully, ideally, he would be open to signing a 1 year deal with us, a prove it deal. You know, saying, "Hey, look, we are going to get you going. We are going to hopefully put you in a good position to get a very large contract next season, likely with another team other than us." That happens so much with the Patriots guys, where they sign a guy for 1 or 2 years, and then at the end of it they go get a massive contract because we make them look very, very good. Then they don't play up to the, expectations with their new team after us. And then sometimes, like Jamie Collins, they come back maybe even twice after doing that. I feel like Jamie Collins is like a con artist at this point. He plays so good for us and then gets a massive contract, comes back to us, plays really good, gets a massive contract, and then now came back to us and we haven't seen what happens yet, but maybe he'll play really good and then go get a massive contract. That seems to be the trend at this point. Regardless, that's besides the point. I feel like giving Odell Beckham Jr. a 1 year deal, decent salary. I think we do have some cap space. Give him a decent salary, not like anything massive, but give him a decent salary, enough to get him in the building and say, hey, look, you're going to play really good for us. We are going to get you involved, and you're going to be in a good position to get a very large contract after it's all said and done. I do think Odell Beckham Jr. has said in the past that he really likes Bill Belichick. He has said great things about the Patriots, kind of trying to butter us up to try to get us to acquire him or something like that. So I wouldn't be surprised if there is some interest from his perspective of joining us. And it has, I think at this point we have proven that we are a good passing team with Mac Jones, especially with acquiring another wide receiver. We obviously do not have a wide receiver on the roster with the talents of Odell Beckham Jr. So I think that would massively help Mac Jones, and therefore would help Odell Beckham Jr. Get involved. We have an accurate passer that can get the ball where it needs to be, and I believe Odell Beckham Jr. could get open as well. Overall, just a good wide receiver in every single way. I think there has been a lack of effort, but one would hope that coming to the Patriots system and getting around this building, sometimes we see those free agents that struggle with effort really turn things around and just embrace the system. So it could be something like that. But again, he could sign with somebody like the Rams or maybe another contender that is one wide receiver short or something like that. But I would say the team should pursue this. And honestly, I'm going to be watching for updates because I want to be able to give you guys the most up to date information. But so far, I have heard zero information from any teams as far as interest in Odell Beckham Jr., and I've heard zero from Odell Beckham Jr. about interest in any team. So it is really, really up in the air. But I do think that his interest at this point is winning and getting more passes thrown his way, getting more involved in a team. And he didn't feel like that was the Browns. And at this point, the winning part for at least this season seems to be a struggle for the Browns. So I do understand that. But I'm not exactly sure. I haven't watched any Browns games this season, how effectively they were getting the ball to him, how many attempts were being passed his way. But apparently there's been a lack in it. And I can tell you this much, if Odell Beckham Jr. came to the Patriots, I'm sure with the talent that would be around him in the wide receiver group, he'd be getting a bit more attempts passed his way. And like I said, likely with Josh McDaniels' playbook, we could find ways to get him much more open than most other playbooks would effectively be able to do. Just take advantage of his route running and just his ability to go up and get it as well. Just those hands. Obviously, Odell Beckham Jr. is most known for his catching ability, but also his route running is not too shabby either. Overall talent is there. I think the effort has been lacking in a way, but I think with this new move that he's trying to make, it might reignite a spark in him. So anyway, here's to hoping the Patriots try to at least make a fair offer, an offer that is good for the team and also good for Odell Beckham Jr. and might at least give us a chance at getting him in the building and on the team to see what he can do. I would love that personally, but let me know in the comments down below what you think. Leave a comment saying either you think the Patriots should pursue Odell Beckham Jr. or should not, and give me a reason why. I'd be very curious to see what the majority of you guys think, so be sure to leave a comment down below with your thoughts on it. Anyway, again, be sure to subscribe for the best Patriots content on YouTube. Leave a like down below because it helps me out so much, and also leave those comments on your thoughts. I'll see you guys in the next video.